Welcome back to the Market Wolf, where I give you the best bear case, the best bull case, and I give you my opinion. And we are getting absolutely chopped to pieces in this ascending wedge. At least my opinion is. I've been reflecting on the past 48 hours, and here's what I have realized. And if you want to learn the market, this is something to pay attention to, because if you go to somebody else's channel and they say they're always right all the time and they're not admitting when they actually get something wrong, you're probably on the wrong channel. If you want to learn and you want to make money learning, then this is the place to be. So remember, within, let's see, within this 24-hour window right here, at the end of this 24-hour window right here and going into aftermarket, I was thinking, my personal opinion is that we would come down just a little bit and to cool off the RSI, and then we would get bullish again, because on the higher time frames we were looking very bullish. It turns out, since that was on the 4-hour time frame, that, and this is what I learned, that you've got to clear out that 4-hour time frame, at least down to the 50 on the RSI. And so this move down all the way to here is what did that. That cleared us out on the RSI. Okay? Now, then yesterday I told you, based on what I was seeing here, and the thing we have here is lagging indicators. That's all we've got. Based on all of the lagging indicators, all I could tell you is, well, number one, I told you I wasn't sure that it was 50-50, that I certainly wasn't going to be in a trade, but if I had to choose based on the lagging indicators, I thought it would go down. Now, we went up. Why? Because we cleared that RSI on that 4-hour time frame back here. And that's that move up that I was looking for related to that RSI. And I told you that yesterday on the bull case. I told you the RSI was cleared out now and we could go up. Here's the problem I'm seeing going forward, okay? If we're in this for the long case, and I'm trying to make some money on the upside right now, not the downside, because the long case right now is looking like the upside. Go to some of my other videos on that where I give you the long case here. But as we chop inside of this ascending wedge, this movement of price is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and we've got a limited amount of time to break out of this symmetrical triangle to put in a reversal. There's going to be a point where we could coil up so tight inside of this thing, almost trading sideways and up really, that at some point this rolls over and you fall way back down. Okay, and I showed you that measured move down yesterday in that video, so pay attention to that video. Go back and see about that measured move down, just how far we can fall. Now, what about where we are now? What do I think for tomorrow? Let me give you the best bull case first. We are not quite overcooked on the RSI. What needs to happen for a bull case to play out appropriately? This cup needs to now put on a handle, and we don't want to see, preferably, that handle break past $421.58. Now, if it does, it definitely needs to hold $421.27. We have got to hold that level at the very least. And we really need to do our cooling off on the RSI by chopping to the top side. We've got to make a move eventually to get on top of this blue ascending wedge. We absolutely have to get on top of there and hold. Problem being, if you keep breaking down and you break down further back to the base of this wedge, every time you get bullish coming back up, you're going to run that RSI up so high that you then have to cool it off again. And you're going to run it up so high that you have to cool it off again. And eventually that's going to fail, capitulate, and roll over. We've got to get topside and flagging on here at the RSI cooling. And then we want to see another move up to the 425.32 level to get up there, flag and cool, because that's the only way we get out of this situation. All right, now, so on the bull case, everything is still looking very bullish on this 1 hour time frame that we're sitting on right now. We're currently sitting at $422.12. It is 6:34 p.m. Thursday, June 1st. This is your update for tomorrow, Friday. Now, if Friday is any indicator, sometimes Fridays you do stay bullish, okay? So maybe we get that flagging, maybe we get on top and flag some more, maybe we can get our RSI cooled down, and we don't really fall back into these other levels. We got to end this chop inside this ascending wedge. Now, the bear case that I'm seeing is that on all the time frames, your RSI is a little high. It's going to have to cool. If that means we're going to have a move down, then we're at least coming back down to the top of this symmetrical triangle, which is at maybe about $420.37, somewhere in there. Probably on the 20-day. You might get a bounce there if it cools enough and we want to go with that bull case, but, we could come all the way back down to 418.12. That's a very real possibility right now. And if you were to look at this in the higher time frames, this would look like we're starting an M-topping reversal again, and we're going to come all the way back down. So that is a possibility. Again, we are in so much chop, it is very difficult to say for certain. Odds are you are at least going to roll down to the 418.12 if that RSI decides it wants to cool to the downside. Again, tomorrow, this is not a place I would be in for a trade. I would not be looking to make a trade right now. As a wolf, you could tell the last 48 hours, I'm sitting back and watching the prey. There's no way I would be going in on a trade right now on any stock right now while this is going on here, because this on the S&P 500 is key for a lot of different stocks. Now maybe there's something not related to this that you know about, or maybe you're playing the VIX or something like that, or UVXY to the downside, and so you've got to keep a better eye on this in that sense. But I'm looking at trading in the market right now, and I'm looking to get this long move right here that we've been looking for, possibly if we can get out of this wedge and get bullish all the way up to $435.59. So that's what I am personally looking for. We've got, volume usually tells the story here. And if we look at the 1 hour, actually, let's take it out to the 4 hour. On the higher time frames, we're still looking really bullish. Not by higher time frames, I'm talking about the weekly, monthly. We're still looking bullish there in my estimation. And then on the 4 hour, you're still looking bullish too. You still have the 20-day moving average. You could come all the way down to that area I suggested before to cool off. You've got increasing price on the 4 hour on increasing volume. The only sign that we might have a rollover on the 4 hour is, perhaps a bit of a pin top here, but that doesn't have to happen. You can get several of those or many of those and still work your way up. And certainly the RSI isn't overcooked on here to the point to where, and certainly not the momentum, to where it's like, oh, well, we have to certainly come down. So that's something to pay attention to there, because this could be a nice handle that we put on and then make a move to the upside. We got to pay attention to the long case. The long case is still telling us bull. So while we're up here in this range, we have to be watching for that bull case to begin. Now, we also have a beginning of an uptick on momentum on the MACD. So that tells me, again, we're looking more bullish on the 4 hour time frame than really bearish. Flagging, cooling, that might be the thing that happens as momentum begins to rise. That does look like flagging momentum on the MACD there. So let's see. Let's check. Let me take you back to the 2 hour. And again, yes, even in the 2 hour, this looks like flagging. This just looks like flagging, and you can almost see this looks like a little bull flag here, which is really the cup and handle. It's a tough call. This is a tough call. To me, I'll give you, look, the bear case is pretty simple. I told you where you might come to. Could you come all the way back down to the bottom of this wedge, roughly at maybe the $414.17 mark? Absolutely. You surely could. But there's a lot of resistance you have to break through to do that. You've got to break through all of the moving averages. You've got to, that would just really be amazing. Now, that could happen off of news. This is something else we need to talk about. Remember the last time I was convinced that we were going to absolutely break out, okay? What happened? Why did we have that downturn? Well, what happened that day was the Ukraine decided they were going to launch a giant attack with drones, and by giant I mean targeting civilians and the Kremlin again. That's the kind of stuff you can't predict. So if you get a news day like that, yeah, you're coming down and volatility is going up, okay? But right now, I'm not an oracle. All I can tell you is based on the past, these are all lagging indicators of what's probably going to happen tomorrow. So here's my case. Here's what I think will happen tomorrow. I think we're at a point right now, barring any craziness, where the RSI is reset far enough to where we can flag and cool it if we need to, maybe even chopping to the top side of this symmetrical, maybe even coming down to 420.15, perhaps a little lower, maybe even all the way down to roughly 419.38. We could see some chop in that area, but I believe we get bullish at some point tomorrow in the sense that we get topside of this and we hold it. I really think that tomorrow, every time we get up here, that's what we've got to be looking for. And if we've got people that are stuck long in this market, like I've said many times since we've been in this ascending wedge. And so, and by people, I mean like people with big money. I'm talking about whales. I'm talking about corporations. I'm talking about institutional money is trapped up here and they want out. So they're going to either take your money when you try and short the market, okay? They're going to get their money back that way, and then they get it long way too, and then they get you up here too. Or they're going to get their money in the opposite direction. So you got to pay attention and be watching. I really think that we're going to be coming up. I really think we're going to be coming up until we prove otherwise with this wedge, and it looks like, yeah, we're definitely going to have a breakdown. Once it's invalidated really well, I'll believe it. But for now, we remain bullish on the long-term case, and that's my opinion. That's the bear case, that's the bull case, that's what I'm thinking. We will see you next time on The Market Wolf.